Good morning, good evening, good whatever time it is you're watching this. I'm Dave with Cups and Handles, and in this quick market recap, we're going to break down today's SPY price action, identify the key technical levels that matter, and discuss what I'm anticipating for the next trading session. We only have a few minutes, so let's jump right into the charts. Hey everybody, welcome to today's video. I'll be doing a quick recap of the price action today and giving you my analysis for what I expect out of tomorrow. So with that said, let's kind of go into the 30-minute time frame and let's show our crazy drawings. So with our drawings, we're still within the selling channel. Now we did have this support at the 765.22. This was a very key support and we kind of broke through that in the pre-market this morning. It actually happened a little bit in the after hours, but in the pre-market this morning, we broke through that level, so we're going to go ahead and delete it. And from that, we started creating, hold on, let me get this fixed. We started creating this cup, okay? Finished that cup out, and within today's price action, we started to pull down to potentially form the handle to break out of this selling channel. Now that doesn't mean it's confirmed that we're going to do that, and I'm going to discuss that in just a minute here. But what really happened was that overall today was pretty pinned at this level. And what I mean by this level is that we had the 5 mile at the 765.35. We closed at the 765.91, so we essentially closed right at that level. And we also had the 20 mile at the 764.80. So within the high and the low of today, we had a low of the 763.05, a high of the 766.78, and that plays pretty perfect within what we expect the upper bounds and the lower bounds of the day to be. Upper bounds of the 20 mile was basically at that 766.80. The high of today being the 766.78, so 2 cents off that level. Kind of surprising to see that. And the lower bounds of the 20 mile would be around that 762.80, and we pull down to the 763.05. So today was another one of those 20 mile retests. We had one yesterday, had one today, and very likely we're going to start seeing that, partially tomorrow as well. But with that, we were also testing the 5 mile. Okay, so the 765.35, pretty much right on top of where the 20 mile is. And we have been discussing this move. And I believe, if I remember correctly, we talked about this in yesterday's video where I have heavy expectations of the market closing at the 5 mile today because we have very important data in the morning. Trading is a skill that can last for a lifetime. Join my Patreon for live classes, my personal market analysis, premium Discord access, and direct communication with me. Invest in yourself, become a more consistent trader, and build a better future for yourself and your family. Visit patreon.com/wooksy to join today. Thank you so much, and let's return back to the video. And again, that morning data comes out at 8:30. We have the PCE data, we have the GDP data, we have personal spending, we have quite a lot of data sets coming out. So the price action for tomorrow will be heavily influenced based on what that data gives us. Now, generally, if we get cooler data, usually that pushes the price up within equities. But that may not be the case this time because the data has been coming in very cool. And we're completely, not at that point yet, but this is starting to get to the data where, those recession indicators start kicking in. Now, I think the market is overall ignoring that, but they can't ignore that forever. And if we continue to see a lot of this data just continuing to degrade our economy, then that can absolutely turn into bearish sentiment. Okay, so usually I would be able to say, pretty confidently, we're expecting cooler data tomorrow. I think that's, pretty much what the forecast is across the board is that we're expecting either cooler or neutral data, nothing really higher or hotter. Um, which generally, again, that would be something I would expect to create bullish price action. We do have this cup and handle formed, and so potentially, are we going to start heading upward? Um, Potentially. I mean, I think that's a real possibility at this point. However, and this is the big however, is that we do have the Nvidia earnings in the after hours tomorrow. So while we might get cooler data and that might, make the market want to push upward, they might keep it pinned at that 5 mile and 20 mile, just because they're waiting for the anticipation of what's going to happen with Nvidia. Um, because, for example, and I want to kind of talk about the CPI print that came out, a couple weeks ago. I don't want to say a couple weeks ago, basically came out like a month ago. Um, but the CPI data came in very, very cool. Okay, and when that data came in cool, everybody had the expectation that the market was going to, basically rally really hard. Um, the market did not move anywhere that day. It basically was pinned at like a dollar range, if I remember correctly. And the reason why is because they were waiting for the PPI data the following day. Now, that could be very much so what we're expecting out of tomorrow, is that we may not get that reaction in the morning. The market may be waiting for what happens with NVIDIA and then kind of doing the move potentially on Thursday. So that's what I'm just overall thinking is going to happen and kind of my expectations. But we do have some important levels to go over. If we do start heading upward, say that the data comes in cool and the market starts to rally, well, we need to start looking to the upside. We have our 20 mile and 5 mile right at the same level. We are right at that level, so I'm not too concerned about testing those levels at this point. And I think the market purposely closed at that range because that's a very, very, very neutral range. And with the 5 mile tested, that's kind of the push power up or down. Um, so the market's primed for either pulling downward or heading up. And I know that's such a cliche way of describing the market, right? Well, we're going to go down or up. However, we're really primed for a big move. Okay, that's what the market's telling us right now. So if we do start heading upward, before we even start looking at these resistances, we need to look at the 10-day moving average. 10-day moving average is the only major moving average support above us, and that's currently at the 769.36, which means that the lower bounds is going to be at that 767.36 and the upper bounds at that 771.36, give or take. Now, the 10 mile will be pulling down slightly tomorrow, so that level might shift a little bit, so just be prepared for that. But one thing that I want to bring to your attention is that today we actually see a green candle within our volume profile. Okay, so the bulls aren't completely done just yet. We see the ADL pulling upward slightly, which means that yes, there is money flowing into the SPY a little bit. So potentially we're getting ready for that push to the upside. Now, if we push to the upside, and let's go ahead and hide the moving averages and everything. This is 4-hour time frame. We should be expecting to push back into this consolidation channel. Now, if we push back into this consolidation channel and don't reject it, then we will obviously be breaking away from the selling channel, and that means that we will be pulling the consolidation channel downward in terms of the bottom side of this channel. Okay, so the bottom of this channel would be kind of right where the bottom of the support range is on the selling channel. Sorry if I can't breathe right now. Every time I close my door, it makes it so hard to breathe in here. But my expectations are very likely we're going to chop to the downside, unless we decide to take this liquidity of this cup and handle and start heading upward. Then we should be looking towards the downside. And for our downside targets, we have the 761.99 and the 758.11 supports. And if we're going to start heading to the upside, besides the 10-day moving average, we need to look towards these other resistances. So the 768.15, the 772.50, and the 773. I don't think we'll be pushing too much further above that as of tomorrow's session, just because we do have NVIDIA in the after hours. It wouldn't make a lot of sense to pull the market up, very heavily, and then, say NVIDIA comes in, even with a beat. Usually it's been selling off during its earnings, so it wouldn't make sense to then push the market down right after, unless they're trying to farm more liquidity. But I don't think that's the case. So overall, again, over the months of August through October, I'm still pretty bearish, but we do have some bullish structure here. Okay, and besides this cup and handle, we also have this double bottom. Now on the overlaying, the overarching structure, we still do have this very large head and shoulders, which can absolutely push us to the downside. We have the 50-day moving average not too far from where we're trading, and we can definitely start continuing down within this selling channel. Now, if we do push upward tomorrow and we kind of reject the selling channel or reject the consolidation channel at the same time, so say we push up and then pull down, then that doesn't mean we pull the consolidation channel down. Okay, we have to see some real conviction in this area, whether we're going to start heading to the upside or to the downside. Now again, we did talk about this with the selling channel, that if we continue seeing it push downward but kind of drag out to the side a little more, we would change from the two supports right here to one of these supports and this support, basically the lowest support in here and the lowest support right there, which I do think I want to keep this channel going at this point. But if we do have a major sell downwards, we will shift it back to that prior channel. So with that said, that's going to be today's video. Sorry, I'm not going into it too much. There's a lot going on today for me. So, as always, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you have a safe trading day tomorrow, and I will talk to you in tomorrow's video. So take care, everybody. That wraps up this market recap. If you found the analysis helpful, please take a moment to like the video, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who would benefit from these daily market breakdowns. It really does help support the channel and allows me to continue creating free educational content for everybody. As always, have a trading plan before you enter a position, manage your risk, and remember, we're not trying to predict the market, we're trying to prepare for it. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.